Good morning, everyone. I thought my camera was starting then and it wasn't. This is Sarah Joanne, and welcome to day one of Amazing Angel Tarot Tips. We've got 12 days of these. So I'm just going to share this live in a private space, so people who are commenting privately can remain privately, because this is also on my public page. So just give me a moment while people join me live as well. And we'll get started on the tips. So I'm doing this event over the next 12 days because the information is coming divinely guided to me. And also because I have a group called Sarah Joanne's Angel Tarot Group. And within that group, I did a poll, a few weeks back now, probably a month or so back, and asked the group, what would you like to see more of? Would you like to see more readings from me? Would you like to see more tips about how to read Angel Tarot? Would you like a space to practice cards? And the answer that came back the most was to read, basically to learn tips about cards. And I thought, well, therein lies the answer, that I need to run this again, because it's been a while since I've run it. It's probably been, I bet it was the end of last year since I've run this. And I did 7 days last time, and this time I'm doing 12. So, let me just get this up so I can see the comments. Sorry about this. Thank you for being patient. Just want to make sure I can see everybody's comments, that's all, and I can respond. So the idea came in from the poll, and then it came in divinely guided by a lovely lady who sent me a message and said, I feel that you need to be doing things with angel cards again now. And I smiled because I just got the confirmation that I need to be doing this again. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be sharing 12 tips of Amazing Angel Tarot, and I'm using a particular deck called the Doreen Virtue Archangel Power Deck. You don't need to use that deck to watch me, but it would be really helpful if you do. All the tips that I provide are going to be able to be cross-transferred to any Angel Tarot cards. You can use Angel Oracle decks, but what you'll find is some of the tips won't cross-transfer because I'm specifically referring to tarot cards. But yeah, if you use the same deck, what you'll find is you start really getting a relationship with the same cards that I'm using. So if you've got the deck, it looks like this. There's a picture in Sarah Joanne's Angel Tarot Guidance group of what the box looks like. And you can grab yourself a box there. And then it'd be really useful if you do use the same deck. But like I say, you don't have to. You can cross-transfer to another Angel Tarot deck as long as it's Angel Tarot. And actually, I might start on that point and just start with the difference. So the difference between Angel Oracle cards and then Angel Tarot cards is Angel Oracle cards can be a number of, say, 44. I've seen 27s. I've seen 54s. So those numbers of cards can be various numbers, to be honest. And Oracle cards don't tend to follow a set structure. There may be a set structure by the author who's created them. They may have a flow, but they won't be a set structure as the same as other Oracle cards. The difference with the tarot is it all follows the same structure. So whether you read Fairy Tarot, Angel Tarot, Cat Tarot, Unicorn Tarot, whatever tarot cards you read, they all follow the same structure. And within the tarot deck, there's always 78 cards. And within the 78 cards, there's a set number of certain cards, which I'll go into later, I won't go into today. But what I find with the tarot and the Angel Tarot, or Fairy Tarot, whichever I use, but in this particular event I'm using Angel Tarot, what I find is the cards go much deeper and can go much deeper into a reading, hence why I use tarot. it is a more complicated deck. It's sometimes a less easy deck to read, but it does give a lot more insight than what, say, an oracle deck can give. That's what I personally find, is my personal opinion. So this is why I use Angel Tarot. So yeah, using the Archangel Power Tarot deck, if you haven't got a deck and you want to follow it for the 12 days, go get yourself a deck, and then you can just follow this. Look, one other thing I'm going to say as well is, if you don't want to miss this, which is going live every day, it's a good idea to register and to sign up for the tips. And if you sign up, that means that you get this video tip in your inbox every day. And then it saves you searching and scrolling on my page or on Sarah Joanne's Angel Tarot Guidance page. And then you can't find it and you're like, oh, I need to find day 3 and I don't know where it is. You'll have them in your inbox. So I will put the link to subscribe at the top of this. And it's also in my Angel Tarot Guidance group as well. So let's start. And I'm going to start with a little story about me. Well, it's not a story. It's about me, my tale about me. But I'm going to start with that because it just seems a good place about my journey with the cards and how I got here. I am 45 now. 14 years ago, when I was 31, I wasn't even touching cards. I wasn't even picking up cards. Didn't read, and I am a successful reader now. You know, I read online on Facebook. I read for people all over the world. I've read on Psychic TV, and I was with them for quite a while. So I'm a successful reader of angel cards, and I still, to be honest, still find that quite hard to say, really, because I don't feel like that. But that's what I am. You know, I'm being honest, and this is what I do. This is what I do. But I still can't quite believe it, as you can probably tell from my expression when I'm saying it. But yeah, 14 years ago, I wasn't even touching the cards, and you know, I'm not got a background of being psychic. I was intuitive as a child, and I think everybody is intuitive, and I think everybody can tap into their own intuitiveness. But I wasn't, I didn't see dead people. I didn't, you know, have loads of premonitions or anything like that. I was just a normal girl who grew up in Leeds with a mum and dad and 2 sisters. But I did have intuitive insights when I was younger, and I think everybody has intuition. And as I was growing up, I did maybe see angels. Well, I know I saw angels when I was younger, and there's things that have come about that I've remembered since I've gone on this path. But I wouldn't say typically I was psychic or, you know, saw things a lot when I was a child. But I do know I was intuitive, and like I say, I think everybody's intuitive. And I grew up in Leeds. Didn't have a great upbringing, to be honest. But it was good. It was perfect for me. But you know, there's a lot of trials and tribulations within there. And then I went on to normal life, like you do, that you think is normal. I went and got a job, and I ended up with a good job in a corporate job. I got quite high as I could probably go, really. I got married. I had a child, and in that marriage, I had an abusive relationship. It wasn't a great relationship. Around the age of 31, I walked away from that relationship. But around that time as well, lots of things went wrong for me. So I lost my stepfather, who was very, very close to have been my stepfather since I was 15. And he unfortunately died of cancer after a battle of that for a couple of years. Like I say, I walked away from a marriage, which took a lot of courage and a lot of strength. And I was in a big corporate job, and I moved, and I had to move away from the family home with my 4-year-old boy, and it was a really, really stressful time. And then, you know, I don't do things by halves. I met somebody else and quickly fell pregnant with his child, and it really wasn't in the plan. And up till that life, my life had been totally planned, like, you know, quite controlled. I didn't plan to be in an abusive relationship, but what I mean is, I knew I'd get married, I knew I'd have kids, I wanted this career, and everything was sort of planned. And then in that time, obviously nothing could be controlled. I was now having another child, I was grieving, I'd moved house, I still had a house to sell, I had this big job and this company car, and life was just a bit of a mess, to be honest. And I had no control really over what was happening. And then I had my son at 29 weeks pregnant, probably due to all the stress of it. And if you think pregnancy is a 40-week, for those of you that don't know much about pregnancy is a 40-week period, and at 29 weeks he arrived in the world. And he was, quite poorly. It was touch and go, and a lot of shit going on, basically. Sorry for swearing, but that's how it was. And I had to sort of let go and trust and pray to God. And, I'm not really from a religious background, but I had to really trust and pray that it was going to be okay, because this little baby boy of mine was, I was so worried he wasn't going to be okay. So I started just trusting that there was something bigger than me. And I know it's a long, convoluted tale, but I'm getting to the point of how I found the cards. And I had to pray and just trust it was okay. And I just had to let go. I couldn't control any of this. It was in the hands of the doctors. It was in the hands of the God, whatever you want to say, that it was going to be okay. Anyway, long story short, it did come through and he's fine. He's actually 14 now. And he's a strappy teenager and everything else. But that period of total stress and just having to live by day and letting go made me realise there was something outside of me, and it got me in touch with the fact that there was something outside of me, because, I had to just keep functioning and just trust that it was going to survive. I had to trust that I was going to be able to get a house and be away from my husband and all the hassle and harassment I was getting. And I was still grieving for my stepfather, and I was still trying to hold down a job, and it was just chaos. So I just had to trust that there was something outside of me. And I'd often go to bed praying to God and asking angels to look after him. Even when I got him home, there was periods he stopped breathing, he went blue, we were back at the hospital. It was a really stressful time. But I'm saying this not to get you to, feel sorry for me or anything, but just to realise that in times of stress or the hardest times in our life, often we just have to let go and trust that things are bigger than us, that there's a force outside of us. And this is what it did for me. And then that Christmas, Joshua was born in the May. He should have been born in the August. He was born in the May. And then that Christmas, Neil, my new partner, bought me a deck of tarot cards. And I'd been saying to him during this period, do you know what? I was always interested in angels. I was always interested in the spiritual world when I was younger, and I've turned away from it and I want to turn back to it. So he got me a deck of tarot cards, and he bought my first deck, and it was the Rider-Waite deck, and that's the most famous deck. And, there's loads to learn about tarot. It's a very complex subject, but the deck that's most used across the whole of the world is the Rider-Waite, and a lot of people start on that. And I started by looking at those cards, picking them up every day, touching them. And before I knew it, I found that I just couldn't go a day really without picking them up and looking at them for guidance. And then that sort of grew, and I got into angel cards, and I just, I've got decks and decks of cards upstairs, some which I don't even use, but I always keep, I never give them away. And it just got me on a path of angels. And, the fact that the angels are so positive, they're so uplifting, they really help us. And I just started reading for friends, and I'd take the tarot cards and I'd start reading for friends. And then they'd recommend me, and then somebody else would come and ask me for a reading. It started really slow at first, and then it just sort of slowly developed. And I think it developed because I had a passion for the cards. And then it also developed because I just really wanted to help people. And what I found was that a lot of people who had similar journeys to me, and this is what you will find, if you decide to go down this path and you decide to follow these tips and really want to start reading cards for yourself, you'll find that you have people who come to you with similar experiences. So even now, after a long time of doing this, I find that I have people who come to me who have had a corporate career and want to change the job. They want to change direction in the career. I find people who come to me who've had abusive relationships. I find people who've come to me who've had abusive childhoods. I find people come to me who really don't believe in themselves, have no self-confidence, feel they're not good enough, feel pretty rubbish about themselves, like I have done, and still can as well. I'm not infallible. And they'll find that people come to me like that. And what I find is that my own experiences draws people to me, and then with the cards I'm able to read for them and see myself in the cards. And this is how I teach tarot, and I also teach the tips. And ultimately, at the end of these 12 days, there's going to be a course called my Power Angels Tarot course, which teaches you how to read this deck in depth. But a lot of our own experiences attracts the people around us to who we read for. So that's why I have found, and what I still find to this day. So it's important, I feel, for us, and this 12 days, to connect with our energy with the cards and really connect with ourselves and our stories with the cards. And this is what I'm going to be doing over the 12 days, because once you start seeing yourself and your own story in the cards, you'll then be able to read and interpret for others with much ease. You won't be picking up the book, and I'm going to say get rid of your books. I mean, my books are still in my deck of cards, but I honestly don't, in my tarot decks, I don't touch the books. I don't even look at them. And I will be giving basic meanings of some of the tarot cards, because the basic meanings of the tarot cards go across all decks. But what we're going to be doing here is putting more of your story in it, more what you see in the cards, so you can tap into your own intuition. So, long convoluted tale, but it just gives you a bit of a background about me, where I'm from, and how I've got into this. And you know, I started I sort of cut off from a bit, but I ended up reading for people recommended me. And then I had a lady come to the house who I didn't know at the time, but she was a reader on Psychic TV, and she needed some guidance. I gave her a reading. She was really quite blown away with this reading, and she said, you need to get on Psychic TV. And she rung the boss up there, and then I said, I've got this girl, I've just had a reading off, she's brilliant, will you, get in touch with her? And I had to do a test, and I had to go through all this test and everything, and I really didn't think I was going to get on it. This is about 4 years ago now, and I did. And I got on it, and I was reading for people all over the place, and I was on TV with it reading. It was just all a bit mad. And it's a channel called Psychic Today, and I'm not on that anymore, because I decided that I just wanted to be more face-to-face and deal with people. And online, I like the online, but it's just, I still quite believe what happens in this path. So, yeah, I love the tarot, but the one thing that I love is the Angel Tarot, because I find the Rider-Waite deck, as much as I love it, and when I look at it and I think, oh, I started on that deck, this deck I feel is very empowering. I feel it's just a wonderful deck to really get in touch with the Angel's guidance. And this is the deck after the Angel Tarot that I really got in touch with and learnt with myself. So this is the deck that I use. And if you want to follow these tips exactly the same as what I do and really learn a deck, then go buy yourself this deck. So we're going to start today right at the beginning. And I feel tarot and reading cards is something to be respected. I don't feel it's a party trick. You won't find me just getting my cards out and just randomly reading for people. You won't find me at parties going, oh yeah, I'll just get my cards out while I'm drinking or anything like that. I feel, and I've been taught this way as well, that the cards are very much something to be respected. And I feel that we should treat them with respect and treat the gift that we have with reading them, treat them, with something to be, really respected and honoured. because if they're going to get in touch with us and help us to read them clearly, then we should show them respect just like we would a relationship. So I feel that quite strongly, and you'll see that as I go throughout the 12 days. Saying that, and that's quite serious, I do think we should have fun with them. I do think, you know, I would love to see you in the Sarah Joanne's Angel Tarot Guidance group if you're in there. I'd love to see, as the days go by, sharing your cards. Let's all, you know, share them in the group together and have some fun with them, you know, and I do think we should do that. But what I'm saying is, I don't let anybody randomly go and just pick up and touch my cards, and I don't go around saying, oh, I read cards and start reading randomly for people. I think there should be a respect, and people need to come to you if they want your guidance. So the first thing that I want to start with today is energy. And this will be a bit longer live today because obviously I didn't do a bit of a big introduction. But I feel energy in the cards is so important. So I want to start by saying, if you can just answer, how many of you know, have gone into a room as a child or as you're older, and you know somebody has had an argument and you can feel the tension in the room? When have you ever walked into a building and you just don't feel right? It feels a bit horrible, a bit cold, a bit not doesn't feel nice. You know, how many of you as mums, because I'm sure there's quite a few mums watching me, how many of mums have gone into the room and you know that your kid's up to something, but you don't know what it is, you don't know what they've done, but you know. So if you can just comment and just let me know, because this is quite important. I'll have a drink of tea while I'm waiting for comments, because comments take about 5 to 8 seconds. But how many of those have you experienced, as in, you know that there's an atmosphere in the room, you can feel it, go in a building, it doesn't feel right. Or you have a gut instinct about your situation, you know? Yeah, always. Nora said thank you. So this is about your intuition here, and this is about energy, and you're feeling energy in the room. So our intuition often sits with our gut. It also sits up here as well. Yeah, Louise said a job interview beforehand, I knew it wasn't for me. Exactly. So you can feel it. You just feel it's not right. Yeah? And what I'm saying is everything around us is energy, and we can feel when situations are right and we can feel when situations are not. And often we'll buy decks of cards because we like the imagery, because we feel the right, yeah? What I'm saying is that we need to get in touch with the energy of the cards. Now, you're obviously feeling it's right because you're on the 12 tips. You're watching me, you want to learn more about Angel Tarot, so you're feeling to learn it about it's right. I'm getting loads now, actually, thank you. Susan saying, if I walk into a place and get the hair standing on my neck, I turn around and leave straight away and send love and light to the place. Yeah, exactly. Sue's saying, yes I do, and Kimberly's saying, absolutely brilliant, thank you. So, everything is energy, and we can feel energy. And what I'm saying to you is, if you've got, how many of you got this deck? How many of you got this deck already? And have you? Is it new or is it not new? So answer that for me as well, if you would. I'll drink my tea because I'm gasping for a cup of tea. What I'm saying is, there's energy around us in everything, and we can feel energy. And first and foremost, always trust your gut and trust what you feel about the energy around you. So if things don't feel right, they're generally not right. If things feel right, they generally are. Sometimes that can be changed because maybe we've judged something based on our own story or our own emotions. But generally, 80% of the time, it is right, your gut. So what I'm saying is, you can feel energy, we can feel energy, and what we need to do right at the beginning with any deck, but this particular deck we're working with, is get in touch with the energy of your cards. And this is going to be a relationship with your angel tarot, you know. And for you to read cards well and to read them effectively, you need to build a relationship with your cards. You need to respect them, and you need to, you know, almost like have a good energy experience. So the first thing that you do, if you've got a brand new deck of cards, and if you've got a deck of these cards and you've not actually done this, I would suggest you doing this. The first thing I do when I get any deck of cards is I put white light into them. And what I do, and I'm just going to show you what I do with this, and this is clearing the energy of the cards with a brand new deck. I will sit with the cards, I'll make sure my feet are on the ground, and I take 3 nice deep breaths in. So if you've got your cards in your hand, let's just do this together, let's just do it together. If they're old or new, it doesn't matter. So let's take a nice deep breath in, letting everything go. And same again, breathing in, letting everything go. And the same again, breathing in and letting everything go. And then what I do is see a white shaft of light coming from the crown of my head. And I see white light coming down through the crown of my head. And it's coming from the highest realms above, the angelic realms, the heavenly realms, the pure white divine light coming in through my crown chakra, down through my body, into my hands and into my deck of cards. And just see white light clearing all the cards. And it's as simple as that, but I just see it all clearing and cleansing the cards. The other thing that you can do is you can put incense over them. You can put them over a candle. I've seen that before. But I just like to see them cleansed and cleared of energy. And the reason being is, how many people have touched these cards before they got to you? They've been made in a factory, it may be made in, you know, the Far East or China or somewhere like that. You know, the machines and all the energy on the machines has printed the cards, and then they've probably been touched by human hands and maybe packed them. It might have been packed automatically, and then they will have been placed by hands probably in a box and then shipped and then taken out at the shop or taken out at Amazon or wherever you've got them, and be put in the hands of a postman, and eventually they've got to you. So there's a lot of energy on these cards that to me just needs clearing and just getting rid of. So we start with a clean slate. So, and then I also clear the energy before I shuffle every card, but I won't go into that today. What I want you to do is just do that and just clear the energy of your cards and just get them nice and clean. And then what I also want you to do is get your energy on the cards. And how we can do this is by touching them, by shuffling them, by holding them. But one thing that I always do with a new deck that I love and I want to really, really connect with, I have a little bag. And we'll talk about, you know, tools around tarot and another tip, but I have a little bag and I put them under my pillow. And I do this for 7 nights. And I have done this ever since I have been reading cards. And I got my first deck like 14 years ago. And I put them under my pillow. And the reason being for that is what do we do at night? When we're asleep at night, what happens to us? Where, you know, often we're doing soul work. They say we're at the most closest to our soul at night. We really get in touch with our intuition. If you think about our best ideas sometimes, and this is our own intuition coming in, you may not be aware of this, but you will be now. When you're half asleep and you're going to bed or you're waking up in the morning, often we can get really good ideas and we can have them come into our head and we're like, oh yeah, I need to do that. And this is our intuition guiding us, often coming in, and it comes in when we're most relaxed. And when we're most relaxed is often when we're falling asleep or when we're waking up. So you want your intuitive guidance and the cards and the energy of the cards to connect up together, and having them under your pillow is a great way to do this. And I really swear by this. I teach this in my Power Angels course. So get them under your pillow tonight. And if you haven't got a bag, don't worry, wrap them up in a nice scarf. My sister does that. You know, just wrap them up in something special to you, or just put the whole lot of cards loose under your pillow. It doesn't really matter. But the next 7 nights, let's get your energy on them. And this is just, by doing this, when you're clearing your cards, you're getting it on a clean slate. And then secondly, now you're starting to connect your energy with the cards. So that's tip 1 of today, just energy and energy around the cards. And this is something that I feel is important, because your cards, you might have had loads of people touch them. You might have had other people be messing about with them. You know, you might have said, oh, look at these cards, and have people touching them. What you want to be doing to start this and start a real deep connection with your cards is just clear that and just start from a clean slate, and then it starts with me to go on. And this is something I still use now after all this time. So I wouldn't be teaching it if I didn't feel it was important. So get them under your pillow tonight. And today, if you want to, you know, look at the cards, get your energy on them, just hold them. You can feel that white light just by imagining it going down into the cards, but just holding them, touching them. The more you touch them, the more you hold them, the more you look at them, the more you're going to start an energetic connection with them, but particularly by having them under your pillow. So that's the tip for today, and that's around energy. I will be back tomorrow. I need to decide what time I'm going on tomorrow. I might go on tomorrow night, actually. I will have a think about that. I've got a family around this weekend, so I need to think about what time I'm going on tomorrow. I'll be on at different times every day. So I may go on tomorrow night with this. And yes, I'll probably go on about 7 o'clock, I would imagine. So let's say 7 o'clock at the moment. If it's any different, I'll post in the group. I'll let you know on my page. But in the meantime, let's get clearing the energy. Let's get putting them under your pillow tonight. And then I'll be back tomorrow with another tip. And if you have friends who have angel cards and you think they'd like this, please let them know this is going on for the next 12 days. Please join my group, Sarah Joanne's Angel Tarot Guidance, because that's a private space. So this is being shown on my public page, but also you can comment on the private space in there. Nobody can see it. So if you want to start sharing things, you can do that. And I will put the link to register as well, because if you register with your email address, it means you don't miss a tip. So I hope you enjoyed that about energy. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about my story. I'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock with tip 2. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Get touching your cards, get looking at them, and as we go along, we'll be able to support each other, ask questions, and you'll be able to have me as your angel tarot coach, so to speak, for the next 12 days if you really want to interact and get in touch with your cards. Okay, so I'm sending love and angel blessings to you. I will see you all soon. Thank you for your comments. Oh, and Susan said as well, you can put clear quartz over on your cards for them for cleansing as well. But we'll talk differently as well another day about cleansing before readings as well. But thanks, Susan, for that. That's great. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Send you your love and blessing, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.